Welcome, Science Explorers. This is your lead scientist, Miss Shirley. Today's lesson is what do we need to create a butterfly habitat? By the end of this lesson, you're going to be able to review many facts about a butterfly garden. Animals, including butterflies, need food, water, shelter to survive. Plants need water, sunlight, space, and nutrients to grow. Plants and animals depend on each other in a habitat. Animals pollinate flowering plants and spread seeds. Plants provide food and shelter for animals. In our last class, we learned a habitat is a natural environment in which plants and animals live. In a habitat, any organism must find food, shelter, protection, and a way to reproduce. The habitat will be planted in an area where it's sunny most of the time. Butterflies will pollinate new plants. Other animals like birds and squirrels will spread the plant seeds. The plants will come back, and butterflies will also come back. Let's revisit some words we need to learn for this lesson. Butterfly garden, a garden planted specifically to attract butterflies. Habitat, natural home for animals, plants, and insects. Okay, science explorers, we are going to learn more about a butterfly habitat, and we are also going to review and explore and investigate some questions we have about it. So let's watch this video on a butterfly garden.
I don't get out into the woods or onto the water as often as I'd like, so I do what I can to create a little habitat around my house. There are always little surprises. We have a lot of cool looking native bees in Florida, and I love to see butterflies in my yard. With that in mind, we're going to native nurseries in Tallahassee. We're going to learn a little bit about attracting pollinators.
Most people automatically think of flowering, pretty plants that are really highly attractive as butterfly plants, and those are necessary. Those are the nectar food plants, like this penta is an example of that. The most important plant, in order for them to continue to live, is the larval food plants. They are the plants that the adult butterflies lay their eggs on, and then the caterpillars hatch, and they feed on those specific host plants.
Some plants, like this milkweed, are both nectar and host plants. Butterflies are attracted to the food their caterpillars eat.
It's always good to plant in at least threes. They're much more able to smell them, and then they are attracted to them, they land, and they lay their eggs. There are also other food crops that we like to eat that the butterflies like to eat as well. And so parsley, fennel, dill, those are all members of the carrot family, and that family is larval food for the black eastern swallowtail butterfly. You know, we'll plant a plot for the butterflies and plant a plot for us, and we just transfer any that we find. You kind of just have to plant enough for both of you. For nectar food for butterflies, there are certain types of flowers that they prefer. And one of the types is the composite family, which this is a native silphium, which is kind of in the sunflower family of plants. And when we see plants like this, just like a sunflower, you think of this as one bloom, but it's actually many blooms, and that's why it's called a composite flower. Rather than going from one big flower to another big flower, it can land right here and just sit and have a little buffet style meal. So that saves energy for them. I think it's really important to include native species of flowers and larval food plants in your yard, because butterflies and other insects have established ecological relationships with those plants. We like to include some non-native plants as well, like these pentas right here. And they have a longer season of bloom because they're tropical, they're not seasonal. And they just keep blooming until frost kills them back in the winter.
Sometimes I take an extra second and really look at the plants in my yard. You never know what you'll find under any given leaf, and that's what makes it fun. For WFSU, I'm Rob Diaz de Villegas.
Okay, science explorers, let's review some information we've learned. A few lessons ago, we drew butterfly habitats that should have included some form of flower the butterfly would get nectar from, as well as a plant the butterfly could lay eggs on. In the previous lesson, we revisited our drawings on the butterfly habitat and included plants and animals. So I want you to think about that when we explore some questions, okay? What is the type of habitat are you planning? Is it going to be tropical? Is it going to be a woodland? Is it going to be a desert? Or is it going to be a prairie? Please think, think, think. Science explorers, write your response. What types of plants have you included and why? For example, is it a tree and bush for shelter? Are there 3 different colors of flowering plants that will flower at different times? What type of flowering plants would you use? Think, think, think. Science explorers, write your response. Science explorers, did you include the plants from our local habitat? Explain why. For example, you could answer no, because I wanted to design a butterfly habitat for a different environment. So think, 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 science explorers. Write your response. Do you agree or disagree with each of these statements? Explain your answer. There is a wide variety of plants throughout the world. Agree or disagree? Some plants are good for a butterfly garden in a habitat and others are not. Agree or disagree? Different plants live in different habitats. Agree or disagree? Now think, think, think. Science explorers, write your response. And to summarize, in this activity, we recognize that butterflies are found around the world. We interact with many variety of plants as food sources and shelter for the butterflies. So what are some of the elements of our local environment where we live that can attract butterflies? Think, 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 science explorers. Write your response. Finally, what did you think of today's lesson? Okay, science explorers, today we learned how we can create a butterfly habitat and what we need to create a butterfly habitat. So until next time, ciao for now.